Here we go. 7 p.m. I will call the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of January 17th, 2023. And we are going to start with two oath of offices, one for the new Commissioner, Sean Hayfield-O'Leary, to the HRA, and a oath for now Redevelopment Authority Commissioner Mary Supple in role as mayor. So we'll start off with those two. Head over that way.
Ask you to raise your right hand. I, Sean Hayfield-O'Leary,
I, Sean Hayfield-O'Leary,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Charter and ordinances of the city,
Charter and ordinances of the original,
and that I will faithfully execute and discharge the duties
and I will faithfully execute and discharge the duties
of the office of Commissioner
of the Office of Commissioner
of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority of the City of Ridgefield,
of the Office of Commissioner of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority of the City of Ridgefield,
according to the law
according to the law,
and to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and
and understanding.
congratulations.
Okay.
Supple,
I, Mary B. Supple,
solemnly
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Ridgefield, and that I will faithfully execute
Charter
and discharge the duties
of
of the Office of Commissioner
the Housing
of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority
Of-
of the City of Ridgefield,
according to the law,
according to the law
best ability.
and the best of my ability and understanding.
Well, welcome to our newest and returning commissioners. Happy to have you here. So we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the open forum. So each speaker is to keep their comment period to 3 minutes to allow sufficient time for others. Comments are to be an opportunity to address the HRA. You can refer to the HRA agenda and minutes webpage for additional ways to submit comments. You can also call us right now at you can call anytime at 612-861-9764 or email kdubois or ldubois at richfieldmn.gov. You can call into the open forum right now by dialing 1-415-655-0001 and using webinar access code 24666565973 with a password of 1234. Is there anyone calling in currently? Okay. We'll give it a second, and then we can always come back if someone does call in. Okay. Well, please give us a signal if someone does call in, and we can come back to it. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of December 19th, 2022. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. All right. Item number 1, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. All right, item number 2 is the consent calendar. The consent calendar contains several items which are acted upon at HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items' recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action on these items is necessary. However, any HRA commissioner may request that an item be removed to the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Chair Breeze Daniels, typically the executive director will read each item before there's a motion. I'm happy to do that if the board would like.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Item A on the consent calendar, consider the appointment of Commissioner Hanson as interim secretary of the Richfield Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Item B, consider a resolution approving an extension of a preliminary redevelopment agreement with Beacon Interfaith Housing Collaborative for the development of approximately 40 units of affordable supportive housing for people at 6613 through 6625 Portland Avenue. That concludes tonight's consent calendar.
Fantastic. Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any, no, we're not going to discuss. Is anyone going to move it off? Yes, go ahead.
So this is not, I guess, germane to this particular vote we're taking right now, but, and maybe I should do this during the discussion time. I was asked by a resident about the accessibility standards that were being proposed by the Beacon Development. So is that something that could be brought back to the group for the next meeting?
I almost called you Chair Supple. Commissioner Supple, yes, we when Beacon comes forward with a specific proposal, we are happy to talk about those inclusionary standards, or we can just go over the general inclusionary housing policy with the board. Is there a preference?
I think it's fine when they bring a proposal forward. It was just I didn't know what to tell the residents, so I said I would bring it forward. And I realize it has nothing to do with approving the extension, but I just wanted to make sure it was on the record somewhere that the request was made.
Yes, absolutely. We will discuss that.
Thank you.
There's been a motion, a second, to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar is passed. All right, item number 4. Executive Director Paleman.
Thank you, Chair Breeze Daniels. I'm going to have Julie Urban, Assistant Community Development Director, present the report.
Thank you, Acting Chair Reese Daniels and members of the HRA. In December of 2021, the HRA approved a contract for private development with MWF Properties to construct 55 units of affordable apartments on HRA-owned property located at 7700 Pillsbury Avenue South. In July of 2022, the developer applied for 9% tax credits from the state of Minnesota to finance the project, but found out in December that the project was not awarded funding. The developer is asking the HRA to extend the contract for an additional year to enable them to apply again for tax credits. There are several factors that give the developer some confidence that they could be successful in a reapplication. First, the project was just 1 point short of receiving funding in 2022. Second, if the legislature approves a bonding bill this session, there will be additional funds available in the form of housing infrastructure bonds this year. In 2022, the legislature failed to pass a bonding bill, so there were no HIBs, and therefore more projects were seeking the limited amount of funding available through those 9% tax credits. In fact, only 30% of the projects seeking tax credits received an award in 2022. In May of this year, the developer will discuss the project with staff to determine if conditions continue to be favorable for a successful application. For example, a bonding bill has been passed and construction costs and interest rates stabilized. If it seems unlikely the project would receive an award, the developer and the HRA could decide to cancel the contract at that time. And in fact, if they decide not to apply in July, the contract would be automatically canceled by the end of July if they have not made an application. Just as a reminder of where we ended with the project in terms of the affordability, just a reminder, They are proposing 7 housing support units, which would be affordable at 30% of the area median income. 5 what are called 811 units for individuals with disabilities, also affordable at 30%. 6 units would be reserved for persons or families in general whose income is 30% of the AMI. There would be 19 units for persons whose income is 50% or less of the AMI, and then the final 18 units would be for persons or families whose income is 60% or less of the AMI. So I just wanted to remind you that the project is proposing some of those 30% AMI units that we have struggled to get developed in the community. So on that, I would be happy to answer any questions. The developer was not able to be with us this evening, but I hopefully can answer any questions that you might have.
Does anyone have any questions for staff before we start? Procedural questions, since there is no one visibly here. Do we have to open a public forum? No. Okay, thank you. All right. If there are no questions, is there a motion?
All right. I will move to adopt a resolution approving an amendment to the contract for private development with MWF Properties for the development of 55 units of multifamily housing at 7700 Pillsbury Avenue South, extending the contract for private development deadline to January 15th, 2024.
And I will second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or comments anyone would like to make? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is passed. All right, moving down to item number 5 on our agenda, which is the HRA discussion items. Does anyone have any HRA discussion items they would like to talk about? All right, going once, going twice? All right, we'll move on to item number 6, the executive director's report.
Thank you, Chair. I just have one item to report tonight, and that is exciting news. We were recommended for funding of $192,000 for 3 new units at Woodlawn Terrace. That is part of the Met Council's affordable home ownership pilot through their local housing initiatives account. The staff made that recommendation today, and there will be final board consideration on the 25th. But we would expect that will be funded for that, and that's really exciting. That's gap funding for new units at Woodlawn. And that's it.
Excellent. All right. Item number 7, claims. Is there a motion to approve the claims?
So moved to approve the claims.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The claims are approved. And that puts us in adjournment. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.